So, Jim, I want to ask you something else as well, mate, because you are the bike guy, self-proclaimed, or as we all know you. But you also do another job,
That's right.
which is you are a firefighter.
That's right.
Some people probably won't know that, mate. I assume that came before the bikes, or?
Yeah, so that's my other job. And I've been very lucky I've done that now I'm just approaching 23 years in the service. It's an interesting place to be because obviously on the one hand, I work for the public. I'm a public servant, effectively, is that job.
Yeah.
And I've got this other thing over here with the bikes where I take those skills to some degree and deal with people in a customer-facing environment. But they're not that
like helping people, don't they?
Yeah, I do. I think that's probably true. I think I probably enjoy jobs that involve helping people out. But yeah, the fire service is the other thing, which is my passion. And I've been really, really lucky to enjoy it is a great career. It's wonderful. I mean, no one ever got rich out of it. But by the same token, you get to do a really, really fabulous thing. And it's quite community facing. So I'm based up the road at Newbury Fire Station with Red Watch there. And the best thing about it really is I think that you have to love people. You have to love helping people. You have to love the area that you're going to work in.
Yeah.
It can be, you can probably guess, it can occasionally be incredibly traumatic. And there can be times when it's difficult to make the separation, especially if you live and work in Newbury and you're also attending to incidents in the area. But against that, it is a brilliant job and you get to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You get to have an awful lot of fun and it's an interesting thing because people ask me about it all the time and I think that in their head they have an image based on, is it like Fireman Sam or is it like
pulling the cat out of the tree?
It like London's Burning and all this kind of stuff? And the reality is the job's really quite weird and varied because the first thing is people think we sit around drinking tea all day. We don't. We are flat out busy with a million things. And it's not just incidents. 1 minute you can be in an old people's home fitting them out with smoke alarms and doing advice. The next minute you can be doing advice for kids. You might have a visit going on at the station. You might be out and about attending a community event. We do a lot of work with
that. You do a lot in the community, don't you?
Yeah, you do. You do that because those people are ultimately your bosses, right? So it's funded by the taxpayer.
Yeah.
You have a duty to go out and provide safeguarding and care and advice, but just general care to the community. And that's different groups, religious groups, whatever else, attending festivals in the town, being there, showing up and being present because those people are paying your wages.
Yeah.
It's taxpayer funded and they have a right to your help, but also we go out and connect. So that's a big part of the day. The other big part of the day is training like crazy because one of the weird things about the fire service is our job is to do everything that nobody else can do. So if you think you phone an ambulance, it's for this number of things. They have a very specific brief. I am injured.
Yeah.
I have hurt myself or somebody, and so I need you to come and deal with that. That's their job. And the police, their job is, enforce law and order, come out to incidents and deal with problems that are within theirs.
Yeah.
But then if you go, right, well, what about all the other things that could happen on the planet? This is why our lorry's so big. It's literally, that'd be the fire services job. So in any given day, we need to train to go, okay, well, how do we deal with a crashed helicopter? How do we deal with a radiation leak? There's a cow down a mine.
Yeah.
There are 3 children stuck at the top of an abandoned crane. This house is on fire. That train just fell off the rails. A jumbo jet just came down in a field.
Firefighting's a terrible way to describe it, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
because actually,
much more than that.
Hardly ever. It's such a varied job, and it is that thing of like a large part of our day is training on the most like random selection of subjects because the expectation is what we are is a rolling toolbox, a rolling Swiss Army knife of I've got this problem, there's water pouring through my ceiling, or my house is on fire, or this machine's gone out of control, or this animal's gone missing, or I can hear this noise, or anything. Honestly, anything at all.
Okay, I'd say this is why it's so interesting to talk to you about this, mate, because I don't think people would understand. Like I said, firefighter, quite a narrow term to describe.
But the reality is we don't go to that many house fires.
No,
so you're exactly right.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about it is like the numbers of actual, it is what it is. It's a black and white house fire. Your house is on fire that we go to is pretty rare. The world is quite a safe place in that respect.
Yeah. I suppose these days it probably is, isn't it?
Well, nobody smokes anymore.
No.
Nobody deep fat fires
Electronics
anymore.
are a lot.
Electronics are safe.
Yeah. safer.
Ish, although I would caveat that a little bit by sort of, if I'm putting my corporate head on a minute, I'd say just be careful about how many items you charge in your house, because I think the last 4 or 5 house fires we went to were all to do with people charging things. So battery fires are the big one now. But yeah, fundamentally, house fires are not the biggest part of our business now. So nowadays, environmental stuff, so like flooding, is huge because the climate is changing. A lot of fires that we get in the summer now are just caused by spontaneous combustion because the temperatures are going through the roof. Last year, we spent probably the best part of 2 months flat out in July and August going from thing to thing to thing because the temperatures were above 30 degrees and everything was bone dry. So people's sheds were just igniting. People's gardens were just igniting. People's cars were going up. So environmental change is a big thing. And then in the winter, you know, flooding and stuff. So that's quite a big part of it now. And then the other one as well, there's an awful lot of care in the community related stuff. We have an elderly population. People live a lot longer, but that then changes your risk a bit because you've now got huge amounts of isolated elderly people in far-flung places. Do you know what I mean? And at some point, that's going to involve maybe the police and the ambulance and us. So the fire service are kind of doing lots of things around that now. But so the job has changed, and there are still days where we'll turn up, put a ladder up to a window, and rescue somebody out of it. But that's not that much.
Do you find that when you go back into your workshop, then it's quite a good way for you to disassociate, or say you've seen, I mean, you must see some pretty horrific things at times as well. To go back into that place where obviously you're quite, obviously we've talked at length about how much joy it brings you.
Yeah.
That must be quite a nice place to be, but at the same time, quite a lonely place, I'd imagine.
Well, I have recognised that. I think it is an exercise in basically being paid by other people to basically look after my own mental health anyway. I'm quite lucky. Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, you may as well see it for what it is, and I'm sure it's the same for you. You probably enjoy being in here, getting into your own head, and I'm the same. If I've got a proper project to work on in the workshop, it is a very good antidote to what I may have had to deal with over there.
I would imagine as well, if you've got a group set that doesn't work, you think, well, I just pulled something out of a car yesterday, so
perspective,
relative terms, that'll be all right. I'll make that work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it turns you into a professional coper. Do you know what I mean? And that's actually what the fire service is known as. What we are is we're people that will just come to whatever problem you're having, and we might not know what to do about it at first, but if you get enough of us together, scratch our heads, and we look what kit we've got on the truck, and we'll go, oh, okay, we'll deal with this then. Your crew on a fire station is called a watch. Okay, so at Newbury we've got red watch, blue watch, green watch, and white watch, and I'm one of the officers in charge of red watch. And we're lucky because on your watch, you'll usually have 10 or 11 people, and they may be made up of, one of them was probably a builder before they joined. One of them was a car mechanic before they joined. One of them was a lawyer or a solicitor before they joined. So you'll have a whole crew of people that know a lot of things about a lot of things. So you might be dealing with, like, I don't know, you've gone out because there's been high winds and now a roof's collapsing. Well, the builder guy who used to be a roofer, he'll be like, okay, I know all about this. So you'll be like, mate, you tell me what we're doing then. Let's get a cordon in, but this is yours. I'm in charge, but actually you tell me what we should be doing.
Well, you just utilise the skills of the person.
So you very much do, you very much do have that crossover. And over the years, I've had a bunch of different people. You know, one of the watchers I used to work on, one of the guys there was an ex-jockey from Lambourne. You think, how is that useful? But you'd be surprised at how many animal rescues we get.
Wow. God,
This is a guy who just knows horses. I mean, in this end of the county, we probably get 40 or 50 horse-related incidents a year from Newbury Fire Station, you know, especially out towards Lambourne and Hungerford and places like that. And you think, oh, horses, how bad can that be? Well, actually, horses are lethal. They're massive.
Oh, God, yeah.
And they're lethal and they're unpredictable. And actually, it's like having an unexploded bomb. The first thing we do when we get to anything related to horses is we try and draw a big cordon around it and just evacuate everybody. If you got a bloke on your watch, though, who used to be a jockey.
No, it's price gold, isn't it?
Absolutely. He's going to be like, okay, it's probably going to do this in a minute. It's going to do this.
That's really interesting.
I can see what it's looking at. It's going to do this in a minute. We need to be doing this. And so that's the nature of the job with that, really, is you'll always have somebody who knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff, which is brilliant. You work, it's an interesting job, the fire service, because it's very low paid, but by far and away the most intelligent people I've ever worked with are in the fire service.
I suppose on that topic then, mate, I always ask everyone this question. What advice would you give 16-year-old Jim now if you could look back?
I was thinking about this recently. Get a trade that isn't going to be supplanted by AI. So go and learn to be a carpenter or a sparky or a plumber, because those things are going to go up in value over time.
Hairdresser kids.
Yeah. And at the same time, go to business school so that you can take that skill that you've learned and monetize it. Yeah. Because now you're independent and you've got a skill that no one's ever going to take away from you. But it's not enough to just say, you know what, I'm really, really good at being a plumber. I'm really good at being a sparky. You also need to be able to run a business in the background.
That's so true.
I love to see
solid advice.
You know, when you see like a plumbing firm where they've got 4 vans on the road, and you know they're doing really good numbers because not only are they good at their jobs, they're really good with the books. They're really good in their vans are smart. Their jobs are always on time. And you know what? Get good at something and then watch the rewards come in. And that would be my advice: is if I was to have my time again. Because I spent my 20s bumbling around lots of different jobs. I've had loads of random jobs. I've enjoyed it. At one point, I was a video game designer. At one point, I worked for Disney. Literally, I was in and out of Vodafone for years. I was a website designer. At one point, I was doing liveries for F1 cars out of a graphic design studio. So I've done a bunch of things. But would I change any of it? No. But to answer your question, I would say to people, go and get a trade and then look at training on how to run your own business and insulate yourself against like the onset of AI, because I do think like in 5 years' time or 10 years' time, you know, if you're a solicitor or an estate agent, that's less of a good place to be, because I think there's going to come a point soon where ChatGPT or Claude or whatever does your job for you a little bit, which is a bit scary.
No, very sensible. So what's next then, Jim? What's next for you? What have you got coming up?
Right. What I'd like to do with my business is expand it a little bit beyond where I am. So at the minute, I am in the space of servicing, repairing, advising, upgrading. I'm going to get into videos like this. So there'll be a point where my workshop expands enough that I've got a space I can film videos. I want to get into doing classes for people. This is something I'm really interested in. So I want to get to a point where I do it a little bit. So for example, this morning I had a chap come in for a couple of hours, wanted his bike servicing, but he wanted to do it with me. So we did it together as a commentary drive almost. So I'm going to look at getting into maintenance related classes one-to-one or with groups. And the other thing I want to expand is my area. So I'm going to basically bring up a collection scheme, because, for example, you know, you might want to get your bike service with me. You might be the other side of Thatcham. It might be difficult for you to get across to me. So I'm going to come up with a system of collections by zone. And I've got this idea in my head, and I sort of don't know where this one's going, but I feel like there's probably some mileage in this, as I want to get into a system of basically like a maintenance scheme system. So for example, you may want to, as opposed to showing up when your bike is now creaking and making a load of noise and I hit you with a reasonably large bill because it's been left too long, I want to get into a system of timed maintenance reminders with a monthly fee to spread the bills. Because if I look at my average customer, you know, one person might spend, I don't know, they may bring their bike in for service at the end of the year, and actually by the time I've changed the chain and recabled it and put a couple of tyres on and a couple of hours labour have gone on, you know, they're into 200 and 300 quid, whatever. Well, actually, how else could we do it? Could we spread that cost for you? And in return, that gets you X hours a year and it gets you priority bookings. So that's kind of something I'm thinking about.
Package, sort of.
Little bit.
Subscription type thing.
Sort of. And I've sort of got a feeling from talking to people that they might quite like that. So that's an area I'm also looking to expand into.
Watch this space then. So where can we find you then, Jim, if we want to find you? So
you can find me at jimthebikeguy.com. I'm going to give you my phone number. It's 07500 505 175. Interestingly though, if you'd prefer to just book online, go to my website. There's a whole booking system there now. It shows you the available dates. You can chat with me that way as well. My workshop is a beautifully built little bespoke sort of space in Hungerford. For most people, that works really, really well. But bear in mind that I do collections as well. Don't let location put you off. 'Cause I've got customers in Swindon, I've got customers in Reading, Andover. A lot of those people choose to travel to me.
Yeah.
A lot of those people say, look, is there any chance you can come and pick it up? Which I do as well. So yeah, absolutely bear me in mind. And I think that the most important thing is what I said earlier is, with me, you get me.
Yeah.
You get my time.
Yeah.
I don't rush it. I don't take on too much work. I haven't got numbers to hit. I'm not looking to sell volumes and there's only one mechanic.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
So I really hold myself up to that. I like the idea that people are going to come to me. They're going to get my time. They're going to get my expertise. And actually, you know, I might only do your bike and one other that day. So I'm going to take plenty of breaks. I'm going to put the kettle on. I'm going to make sure I do a good job. But I'm not just going to go, here's your bill, mate. There's your bike. Off you go.
Yeah.
I will never do that. That's for somebody else. You know, the big guys out there can do that.
Hopefully, get a few people to reach out to you and they can see what you're all about.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah.
And people need to remember, I'm not in any way elitist.
No.
I'm not a snob about cycling. Hopefully, you've seen that today.
No, that's
if you've got a bike and you love it, then I love it.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. That's where I'm at.
Great way to end.
Yeah.
You've
thank
got
you.
a bike. You love it.
Yeah.
Jim will love it.
Yeah.
Mate.
Exactly.
Appreciate you coming in, mate.
Thank you very much. It's been brilliant today.